Right then parents, hope you're all okay. Just a quick video to help you all, or those of you that need help, with tying these belts. I know they're a pain in the backside for you all, okay? But no, joking aside, I'm asking just for a little bit of help from everybody with regards to belt tying, just to help things run a little bit more smoothly in class. We're getting an awful lot of kids coming in at the minute with the belts not tied properly. So they're dropping off really quickly at the start of class. Now, although things are easing, I'm sure you can understand, I want to be limiting, as well as the assistants, how much close-up contact we're having with every single person that's coming in through the door. So if you can tie the belts properly when they arrive, one, it means that we're not having to get as close to everybody, and two, if I'm totally honest with you, it means that you're not paying to send your kids in to me for me to spend half the class tying belts. Because if you've got sort of 10, 12 kids in, and half of them have not got the belts tied on properly, within about 5 minutes, they're absolutely everywhere all over the mats as soon as they start jogging around and jumping. Not only that, but obviously as they get older, we want them to be tying their own belts as well, which of course we will help them with when they're old enough, but at sort of 4, 5, 6, 7, that sort of age, they really do struggle to understand how to do it. So, this is how you want to be tying the belt. Now I've got this longer one in the hope that it should be a little bit easier to see. So you won't be working with a belt anywhere near as long as this, and I put this white top on in the hopes that you should be able to see the belt a little bit better. So what you want is, you want a shorter end and then a much longer end. And you want the shorter end, or the shortest end, to be roughly the length that you want the belt to be once it's tied. Now bear in mind, this is a longer belt, okay? So the longest bit crosses over the front. This then carries on, I'll spin round so you can see, it carries on feeding all the way around the back. Be careful that it's not twisting at the back, and it keeps going till it's come all the way around back to the start position. Now this is the important part here. That is now, if you can see, it's crossed over everything. That was the start point, it's gone all the way around and it's crossed over here. When it gets to this point, it folds up and out the top like you're putting on a tie. At that point there, it needs to be pulled tight. That is, for argument's sake, the most important part of the belt tying process, because that's the part that ties the belt to itself and holds it tight, okay? The end part, the knots, really is just to tidy it up and make it look nice, okay? So you should end up with something like this with the, well, that's not too bad for a guess. Give myself a sticker later. But now, joking aside, see now, that's tied on. It's not tight, there's space to move, but the most important thing is, because it's tied to itself, if this knot manages to come loose and falls off like to there, the belt won't come off, okay? Because it's tied around to itself. So you'll be able to get hold of that, move it around, and it, pull on it and it won't come loose. If it does start to come loose, it's a real easy fix. We just grab, literally as instructors or the kids themselves, we walk up, grab hold of this end, pull it tight. It's as simple as that, and then just put the tidy up knots at the front. All right, so going back to the start, I'll show you it correct one more time. So I've got short end, I'll do it without spinning this time. Short end, long end goes over the top. It goes all the way around, it feeds all the way around, okay, it comes up and out and over the top. And then tie it to itself. Now, where do most people go wrong? All right, I'm going to show you how it's done wrong 90% of the time, just so that people can see what the most common error is. And it's understandable as well. Okay, the most common error we see is everybody gets this bit right, they go round the back like that, they get back to the front, and then when they get to here, they tie these two bits together. So they go like this, they pull, they make a knot basically, and then they go like this, and they pull, and they go belts tied. The only problem with that is, I'm sure you can see there's a gap here. It's not tied to itself. Basically, there's a knot in the front, all right, but it's not tied to this part. So what happens is that knot inevitably falls out. When that bit drops, the whole thing, it just falls off, okay? So again, I know I'll keep labouring it, but it's the easiest way to remember. It goes around, and then it goes under, up and under everything. And pulls tight so that it's tied to itself. So there's two strands, look, that bit, and it's tied to itself, and then the knot goes on there to tidy it up. Now, the other 10% of ways that it's tied wrong are just not even tied. I'm not even joking. Sometimes we'll see people come in and they'll literally just be sort of like this, stood on the edge of the mats ready to go in, okay, which obviously it's not great for the kids, especially when you consider we're teaching things like discipline, self-control and respect. You know, we want the uniform to be right. On a side note too, students with crossover gis, making sure that they're pulled over and they're tied at both sides, because the other thing that, you know, again, comes back to the COVID situation, but as well, you know, you're not paying me to dress your kids, okay? I don't want to be starting a class and having them lined up and 4 or 5 of them need dressing first before we come into the class. I understand they can sometimes be a bit tricky when you're in a rush, but again, discipline, respect, we're trying to instill it into the kids from an early age. Just make sure that they're coming onto the mats, uniforms are tied up properly, belts tied on properly, and it makes everything so much easier. All right, and I know from your side it's just one class, but from our side, you know, we've got 4 or 5 of those classes some nights, and it soon builds up. All right, guys, but any questions, please do ask if you're not sure. If this tutorial is a little bit confusing for you, if you just go onto YouTube and type in how to tie a martial arts belt, there are loads of really good explanations, some slightly different versions of it as well, but they all achieve the same thing. When it comes to putting it on, what I would suggest you do is go around behind them, okay, so that when you're putting the belt on, so if you imagine students here, that you're doing it from this side and you're looking over, and then it's almost like you're tying it onto yourself. It's much easier than trying to do it from the front and having to do it all back to front. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, hopefully that helps somebody out there. Just while I'm finishing the video, I should put it on one more time. Don't do like what I'm doing as well, by the way. If the kid's wearing hoodies, don't put the belt on over the hoodie. Because the movement from the hoodie inevitably makes the belt wiggle loose as it's moving around. And not only that, if they get hot, you've got to take the belt off, take the hoodie off. All right, so if they want, I understand it's cold, they want to put hoodies on, put belt on first and hoodie over the top. Those that are belt proud and they can't see the belts, well, they just have to take the hoodie off then, don't they? All right, guys. Anyway, I'm going to leave you there. Thanks as always. Any questions, please ask. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next class.